morning, and thank you for tuning in. You are watching the Dietitian on a Mission. My name is Janet Calderwood, and I want to welcome you to the show. It's a pleasure to be back with you, and I hope that you took my advice to keep a little pad of paper and a pen close by so that you can take notes, and that way you can help educate your friends and family on relevant information that's practical and useful that you can use to help stay healthy, be healthy, and help your loved ones achieve the same goals. Now, we are going to be talking about something that's really, really important, and I have a hint, if you're wondering. This is something that most people think about when they think about fiber. You know, that fiber tastes like cardboard, but we're going to be talking, the show is the focus on fiber today, and I have Miss Cassandra Golden in the house with me.
Hi.
Glad to have you back with us.
Thank you.
Cassandra, we know that fiber is really important. Most people don't know what it is, but it is not cardboard. And so that's, I think that sometimes it gets a bad rap, but you know, I saw a cartoon once. It is said, this is the high fiber diet. It's not only the book that you read, the diet book that you read, it's the diet book that you eat. And it was made with cardboard, so I thought that was kind of funny. But we're going to understand more about how important it is to include this component into your daily living and eating and breathing mode, and Cassandra is going to help us with that today. So they're going to be taking notes,
okay,
and
good.
we can't see them, but I'm pretty confident knowing that people that are watching this show are smart enough to take notes and remember what they're writing down. So let's talk a little bit about fiber. What is it anyway?
Okay, so fiber, if you do just a little internet search with the word fiber, thousands of websites will come up regarding all things fiber. And what fiber is a nutrient found in plants. And there's two different types of fiber. There's insoluble fiber and there's soluble fiber.
Okay.
Both kinds are very healthy for us.
Okay. So fiber is found naturally in plant products, so fruits, vegetables, grain products would be fiber, trees and leaves, but we don't eat those, right?
Yeah, and apparently cardboard.
But anyway, and fiber is an indigestible substance, so that means that it pretty much travels through your entire digestive system and it doesn't digest. So it aids in digestion, it has a lot of health benefits, and we're going to understand different types of fiber, how it's used, the health benefits of eating fiber, and how you can easily get the recommended amounts that you need in your diet. So you said, Cassandra, that fiber is, of course, comes in two types, right? And it's found in plant foods, and the soluble fiber and the insoluble fiber. And tell us a little bit about what each of those means.
Okay, so the insoluble fiber, I think, is what consumers typically think of when they're thinking of fiber.
And it's also sometimes called roughage.
Yes.
The insoluble fiber is called roughage, or nature's broom. How do you like that one? I've never heard that before. Nature's broom, or roughage. And you're not having a test on this, but I'm just giving you a little history. So that's the insoluble fiber.
Yes, so insoluble fiber moves through our digestive tract very quickly as opposed to soluble fiber, which moves very slowly.
Okay.
So insoluble fiber moves quickly, and it can help with constipation, which is typically why people go for fiber. And the sources of insoluble fiber include bran type of products, I think corn bran, let's see, brown rice, barley, couscous, nuts, seeds, and many vegetables, including the skin.
Okay. So all of those things that she just described with insoluble fiber that we know moves very quickly through the digestive tract and helps aid in minimizing constipation, right, is found in all these plant foods. that we already know, that if something kind of makes you have to chew and you know that it came from a plant, you can pretty much guarantee that there's some fiber in there. It gets a little complicated in determining what types are where, and so that's what we're going to help you know a little bit more about that. Okay, and now we also have what is known as soluble fiber. Let's talk a little bit about that.
So soluble fiber, as I mentioned, moves very slow through your digestive system, which can help keep people feeling full longer. So it increases satiety, which can aid in weight management and weight loss.
Right, because if you're eating a big plate of broccoli, for example, and it's going to take you a long time to chew this, right? And, you know, and we think of things that have a lot of fiber as having very few calories, too. So things that are high fiber usually don't have many calories, and so it takes you longer to eat them, you fill up, and the fact that it sticks with you longer means that that satiety cue is like, hey, I'm not really hungry, you know, I've still got all this stuff flowing through the digestive tract, so that can help you lose weight. So if you're looking for strategies to help aid in weight management, increasing your fiber intake could be one of those key things right there.
And another really important feature of soluble fiber is that it can help lower your cholesterol, specifically your LDL cholesterol, which can lower your risk for the #1 cause of death in this country, which is heart disease.
What is LDL cholesterol? You know I'm going to ask because I want to make sure everybody's clear here.
The LDL cholesterol is considered the bad cholesterol.
Bad.
So this one contributes mostly to the artery clogging and the plaque buildup, which can lead to a heart attack or a stroke.
Okay, so LDL cholesterol, low density lipoprotein, is the one that actually, like Cassandra said, can clog the arteries and cause the plaque formation that prevents the flow of blood through the vessels. And we know that soluble fiber helps to almost get rid of all of that, and it helps it to eliminate it from your body. So it's a good thing, and that's why when you buy a container of oatmeal that has 1 gram of soluble fiber, they have the big heart on the front. It says heart healthy. We know that soluble fiber does have that benefit and help lowering some of those total cholesterols, and especially as she described the LDL, or the low density lipoprotein, the unhealthy cholesterol. But usually 1 gram of soluble fiber a day isn't going to do it. The recommendation is about 3 grams of soluble fiber, but if you're eating the recommended serving sizes of fruits and vegetables, what, 6 to 8 a day? I mean, serving sizes, you shouldn't be having any problem in getting the amount of fiber that you need.
No, a well-balanced diet with well-balanced meals should reach that recommendation quite easily.
Right, and chocolate in both hands, well, that maybe balance is not a well-balanced diet, correct?
Correct. And speaking of oatmeal, oatmeal is a very good source of soluble fiber. In addition to that, legumes are a very good source of soluble fiber. Some fruits and vegetables such as apples and oranges and berries as well.
And you know, you mentioned before about the skin on some of these fruits and vegetables, and a lot of people don't like the skin. But there are a lot of benefits to eating the skin on fruits and vegetables. Mostly you're getting fiber on the surface of that. And you know, actually a lot of vitamins are actually right below that surface too. So by eating the skin, I mean, you're getting your biggest bang for your buck, aren't you?
I would agree. And some people are a little apprehensive about eating the skin, but as long as we're washing our fruits and vegetables prior to eating them, it would still be a great recommendation to eat the skin.
Okay, eat the skin. And like even my mom, when she was younger, she thought that the skin on a baked potato was poisonous. Can you imagine? But it's not.
Poisonous, that's extreme.
Yeah, that was pretty extreme. Like, where did you hear that from? But anyway, okay, so fiber we know is important. We know that there's a soluble form that can help lower cholesterol, aid in weight management. And I want to throw this out there too for people that have like irritable bowel syndrome and things like that, that have maybe alternating episodes of constipation and diarrhea, that soluble fiber can help with diarrhea. So if you're looking to keep your pipes running smoothly in your body and to have normal bowel movements, which don't necessarily have to be once a day, really. I mean, normal is between 1 to 3, every 1 to 3 days. But the soluble fiber can help with that, and then of course the insoluble fiber can help with constipation. So they both help, right, with either extreme. Now let's just talk about what is important also. When people start increasing fiber in the diet, what is really important to go along with the fiber?
Drinking water.
Fluids.
Or low-calorie beverages.
Hydration, because I'm not going to sing the song today, but I do have a song, the fiber song, keep your pipes running smoothly in your body, keep your pipes running smoothly all day long. Plenty of fruits, vegetables, beans, and whole grains. Keep your pipes running smoothly in your body all day long. That's the song, but when I was writing the song before, I missed the exit and I was getting so involved that it just really caused a lot of distraction. I have to stay on track today, so I'm not going to sing the song. But hydration is very important because as you're adding bulk to the stool in the form of insoluble fiber, you've got to have something to push it through. And so fluids are very important. Unfortunately, the average American diet is lacking in fiber.
It is.
So let's talk about how much fiber is recommended. I think the average American gets around 10 grams of fiber per day. Is that correct?
About
that.
10.
What's recommended?
There's a different recommendation between men and women. So for women, the recommendation is about 25 grams a day, and for men, it's about 38.
Men need to try harder, don't they?
So
38.
So say you are a man and you're having about 38 grams of fiber a day. If you're having very little fluids and very little water, it can do the opposite effect and cause constipation. And it's also important to keep in mind different supplements that we might be taking, like calcium supplements or iron supplements. A lot of times a side effect of those are constipation as well. So taking all that into consideration, just encouraging fluid for sure.
What about children? I think the recommendation is something like 14 grams for the first 1,000 calories that they eat. And really, the big thing is, you can talk to the pediatrician. Okay, so children need fiber too, and it's not quite as much as adults. But what advice would you give to somebody that is recognizing, hey, I don't like fruits and vegetables. I know that I have some problems going to the bathroom and different things. How can I carefully increase fiber in my diet without having some real extreme side effects like gas and bloating and cramping and things like that?
Okay, so there's something called isolated fibers.
Okay.
So this is a type of fiber that is added to different products that don't typically have a lot of fiber.
And I have some of those. Okay, so hang on a second. Isolated fibers are fibers that are found in foods that are typically not included. As Cassandra said, we call these fortified fiber foods. Now, these can cause some problems.
They could, and excess, they could.
Right? You don't find fiber in brownies naturally.
No, so sometimes people go a little bit overboard and have a little too many of these brownies and experience some GI distress.
Like gas and bloating and things like that. So What do you think? Do you think people should eat those things or try to get it? Because fruits and vegetables also great sources of vitamins and minerals that most Americans probably need more of. So if they're getting them from inherently found in their food, that would probably be better, wouldn't you think?
And if I had a client that I was recommending for them to have more fiber, I wouldn't necessarily want them to have it from something like a Fiber One brownie. I would want them to have it from like psyllium husk fiber or a fiber supplement or Metamucil or something like that.
And why is that?
Why is that? So they don't experience the GI distress that we mentioned earlier. Plus, products like this that you just showed, those have added sugars, and they don't necessarily have all of the vitamins and minerals that we'll find in fruits and vegetables and oats and other items like that.
And so some of those fiber supplements, things like Metamucil and things, do provide a little bit more of that soluble fiber, the one that we need to help lower total cholesterol and things like that. You know, I would always recommend that anytime someone's taking something like that, that they really check with their healthcare professional first. I mean, we don't want to overdo anything here, right?
Right.
We want to stay on track. And, you know, but the bottom line is parents set the example for children, and eating plenty of fruits and vegetables and getting them started on the right track to eat fiber is great, but they get their eating habits from you. And so they're going to be watching what you're doing, and hopefully you can be a good role model for them. Now, one of the things that I think is really important to include in this conversation as people start including more fiber in their diet, we don't want you to go like from 0 to 60 in 10 seconds. So what the recommendation is introducing fiber-rich foods gradually in the diet in increments of 5. So if you realize that, okay, well, maybe I do have, you know, a serving of oatmeal in the morning and maybe an apple, you know, I want you to be mindful that most servings of fruits and vegetables contain, agree with me or disagree, fruits about 3 grams of fiber per serving, and vegetables maybe 2 grams of fiber per serving, depending on what it is. Now, Cassandra pointed out that some of the great sources of fiber, we actually have some on the table here. So I wanted you to see these. Like, look, we've got whole grain oats that has about 3 grams of fiber. 1 is soluble and 2 are insoluble. We have 4.5 cups of popcorn, which has 3 grams of fiber. I have a cup of soybeans, which has, let's see, I wrote it down here. I think it's, okay, 8 grams of fiber in the 1 cup of soybeans, and that is a cup of soybeans. I have, in the almonds, there are 3 grams of fiber. And in the I didn't bring them out, but sunflower seeds, 1/4 of a cup, has about 2 grams of fiber, which isn't much. Did I cover everything? The black beans has 7 grams of fiber. So you can see, as she described, that the legumes do carry a great deal of fiber. They're a great source of fiber and protein for people that are looking for plant-based proteins too. So, so if somebody is trying to think about ways to get fiber in their diet, let's think about breakfast. What are some of the suggestions that you could offer to help people look for high fiber foods?
As far as breakfast goes, berries and other fruits are going to be most acceptable during breakfast time, unless you want to do maybe an omelet with a lot of different vegetables. But adding berries and pears specifically are very high in fiber, and that can be a delicious way to add some fiber to your day to start it off right.
And so if you're already starting with like maybe a high fiber cereal, right? Like maybe oatmeal, if you're a hot cereal lover, or bran flakes. You know, you could make your own sort of bran variety without all the added sugars that come from Raisin Bran, but starting with a bran flake or something like that, you're already going to get 8 to 10 grams of fiber right from the get-go, right? But remember what we said now, if you're sort of slowly introducing things. Maybe your first step would be maybe just starting with the high fiber cereal. Okay, and then as you gradually progress, you can add the berries, which great thing that you bring up is that a serving of berries actually has 4 grams of fiber. Which is a little more than, and pears too have 4 grams
typical.
of fiber. Which, so I mean, you see, if you understand what foods you can get fiber from, it shouldn't be that difficult. But you know, these fortified fibers, like I've seen Fiber One yogurts before, where they're putting fiber in that. You don't normally find fiber in yogurt.
Fiber
You don't
One
normally find
cookies.
fiber in cookies or brownies or ice cream. So things like that.
And on the breakfast note, what I typically suggest to clients is instead of having a glass of juice, say apple juice or orange juice, to have the piece of fruit.
Can you say that again?
Instead of having a glass of juice, whether it be orange juice or apple juice, just have the piece of fruit instead, because you're getting all the fiber.
And you don't get that in the juice.
No, you get a lot of added things in the juice. So I usually just recommend sticking with the fruit.
Okay, good. I like that suggestion. And not to mention, eating the fruit. Again, that's going to create that satiety factor where, you know, drinking a juice, you can down it in 10 seconds. It's going to take you a little bit of time. And, you know, you have the wonderful opportunity of masticating your food and releasing enzymes in your mouth that actually help aid in digestion. So why not get the biggest bang for your buck and eat the fruit?
And a lot of times people are craving something crunchy, like myself. I like crunchy things. So having an apple, you get to have that satisfying crunch as compared to a glass of apple juice. You do not.
Okay. Yeah, but not a candied apple, because not only will you break your tooth or your crown, but you'll get all this added sugar on the exterior. So you don't need all that. But just a plain crispy apple. I like the Honey Crisp ones because they're crunchy and sweet. It's a combination, but there's many different apples to choose from, but something crunchy, even a carrot, for example, if you're looking for something crunchy, right?
That's right.
Good. Okay, what else? So fruit's important.
Okay.
We know whole grain's important.
So as far as lunchtime goes, I would suggest people to try something new. So try a different type of whole grain. We always recommend brown rice and brown pasta.
Okay, hang on a second. Let me step back here before I forget. Whole grains, what are they? They are the entire kernel of the wheat or of the grain, right? So they have the endosperm, the bran, and the germ. All those 3 parts are very important and valuable, and they provide key nutrients. If you're just eating refined grains like white bread or just plain honey wheat bread, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's whole grain. You've got to look for the word whole grain. What Cassandra's saying is there's many types of whole grain. Quinoa is a whole grain. What else?
Farro is a whole grain.
Farro.
Wheat berries. Bulgur and barley.
Brown rice. We know that that's a whole grain.
So some are more popular than others. And what I would suggest to people is to try something new because it's a little bit more exciting.
New and exciting. Go on a food adventure.
Yes.
And try something like that. Most grain products can be prepared the same way that you would prepare something like rice. But that's a great suggestion.
So we can add these grains to different things like stews and soups and casseroles, or just have it as a side. Just like you would use a rice dish, you can use it with barley instead.
Good. Or so for lunch, you could also have a whole grain sandwich, right? You could even, if you're looking for other opportunities, maybe to add some extra fiber, hummus is a wonderful thing. Hummus is the ground chickpeas that has a lot of fiber in it, and you could use it to dip like a whole grain pita, right? So there's a lot of fiber there.
Yep, you're onto something there.
I'm onto something, right? And what about nut butters? They have a lot of fiber too.
They do. They have a lot of fiber and they have a lot of healthy fats. So with the combination of those, you're definitely going to feel full after that for a while.
Okay, good. And then what are some of your suggestions for snacks and dinner items?
Well, for snacks, whole grain popcorn is a wonderful snack, as well as whole grain cereal and nuts, as well as hummus and carrots and celery sticks as well. Those are all great options.
Now, is there something that you want to tell me about this popcorn?
There's something that I would definitely note. It's very important to watch what we're putting on top of this lovely, pristine, high fiber popcorn.
Okay.
So we want to avoid putting butter on top, or a lot of butter, maybe just a little for a taste, but we don't want to pour the butter and the salt on top because that dramatically reduces the nutrients in that healthy snack.
Right, so it takes you taking a healthy thing and making it unhealthy. And you know, you can make your own popcorn. It's very inexpensive. Popcorn is a whole grain, by the way, if you didn't know that. And you can get an air popper. It's very inexpensive. I'm not going to recommend smuggling your own into the next movie that you go visit with your family, but hey, you didn't hear that from me. But I mean, at least you know it would be healthy, right? Okay, and then what about dinner options?
So for dinner options, just like for lunch, our side dish of what's typically a high carbohydrate side, we can replace with a whole grain option, as well as making sure half of our plate is vegetables, so that will ensure fiber.
So you're saying a high carbohydrate side. What she's really talking about is maybe a refined pasta, something like noodles, or even like maybe, what else? I can't think of anything. I'm having...
Like white rice?
White rice. You could get an extra gram of fiber if you switch to brown rice. But
instead of doing white mashed potatoes, we could do sweet potato mashed.
Sweet potato mash. Okay, good. Those are good options. And then whole grain breads. You know, we know that just as a point of health, some health benefits of fiber-rich foods, especially whole grains, helping reduce your risk for colon cancers and other forms of cancer, helping aid in weight management, and we already know that the benefits of fiber foods can lower your risk for cholesterol and heart disease, and aid in weight management, and help people that have experienced diverticulitis control those symptoms. So it just goes on and on and on and on and on. So don't delay and try to eat more fiber in your diet. You don't have to be someone that struggles and thinks that cardboard is the solution to a high fiber diet, because it's not. There are so many delicious and nutritious foods that you can eat. Berries and fruit and whole grains and legumes and nuts and seeds, and be mindful that everything that you put in your mouth should have some kind of nutritional value to it to aid you in maintaining and you're achieving better health outcomes. Thank you for watching. See you next week.